everybody. Welcome to another episode of Lit in English. And this week we are going to present the seven magnitudes of light. And this is the last one of the three topic, which is also representing the 3773, the last number three in our code for understanding your inner self, mastering life. And this is a series of three that have a great connect between the previous two presentation on the dream job and the dream life. And you can see here is the dream life. And then the week before that, we were discussing the dream job. And just a quick recap before we moving on to today's presentation. The dream job presentation tell us how to find a reason for being, which is ikigai. And in that presentation, we have learned the importance of the step by step on how to find the job that you desire. And there are 9 steps to it. The first is that we need to figure out what the world needs, and we learn to love it. And through that, we will have commitment to provide what the world needs, and we also love it, and then we get paid for it. And then once we get to what we're good at and we appreciate it and get paid, that will reach ikigai. And that is not the last thing that we need to focus on after we acquire or after we materialize ikigai on step number 7. We need to be sophisticated at it to make it last. And then it will help us define success in our life. Last week, we went over the dream life to have a clearer vision of what a dream life should look like, because obviously the dream job can only provide us time freedom and financial freedom. There are more to life than just having time, having money, and doing the thing that you love. You have to have the balance between health, self-development, good social relationship, a harmonious family, and then travel the world with the one you love. And as you last week, we went over of how a personal life can be very unbalanced, and we can fix that by contribute our strength in each of these category and have it more rounded, and then we grow it from there. And I highly recommend to go back to all of the episodes that we did in the past couple of months, season 5 of Lit in English. All right, and today we are going to introduce a very important topic, and that is the 7 magnitude of life. So let's go ahead and grab a piece of paper, just like always, and then we start with the top with the title, and that is the 7 magnitude. Magnitude with an S of life. All right, this is arguably the most important topic that each and every one of us need to understand fully, because as the previous two presentations show us that a lot of time we navigate through this world without a map, without knowing where we need to go. and we struggle climbing the corporate ladder, or we struggle to improve our skill and desire a life that we want, not knowing where we are at. So the seven magnitude of life is almost like a seven step, seven level that we can climb up to to truly have a meaningful, a wonderful life. And of course, thanks to all of the wise men, the enlightened one, our teacher, and all of the experts who have walked this path, and they showed this to us. That way, we have more information, a better way to view our journey. And let's start with number one, magnitude one. So the first magnitude of life is very common. Most people can be related to this. And magnitude one would be go to work, go to work. All right. So most of us have a job so that we can make money and take care of our family. And we go to work because so that we can make money. We make get a salary from that job. And that is a definition of having a job. Because obviously there are work that you go to, but you don't get paid for it. And that's not really a job. For example, some people would do some charity activity, or if you can intern to a company where you don't really get paid for the work that you perform. You was only there for the experience, and that doesn't really define it as a job. So at the very first magnitude, that one should aim it toward, or most of us was told from the time that we was very young that we need to go to school. You know, we need to get a good grade, get a degree, and then you will get a job. And most people stuck there, you know, and it does not matter if you are a doctor or a lawyer. All of those are job. It's a job. So, and in this sense, the first magnitude, we tend to cling to a tool that where we can create value, and then we get to pay a salary by other to do it. And this is the most common um, in society. Now, where can we move up from here? Let's go to number two. So number two is a step up from magnitude number one. That is having a job, and it is self-employed. Self-employed. And that will be a business. Business. All right. So there are people who work their job for a long time, and then they decided that they need to do something better for themselves, maybe start a business in their expertise. And you know what? With your expertise in that job, plus self-employ yourself, and that is how you start a business. And there are many, many people who have walked that path where They move up from what they have done in the past. They use that expertise to start a business. However, the second magnitude of life has more meaning than that. And this is probably the key point that most people often got stuck at. And I want to focus on the word self-employed. Just go ahead and highlight that very quickly. All right. So when I first learned about this, I asked myself, what if I don't have the money to start a business? I want to be a self-employed, but how can I get there if I don't have what it takes? And you might refer back to the sixth barrier of life. And again, the word self-employed here has a lot more meaning to it. You don't have to have your own business to exercise self-employed. You can work for a company and you are in control of your work. So let's look back to the dream job, ikigai. All right. So if your job is not just a job, if your job is a dream job, you can confidently say that your job is your business, even though you don't have a company, you don't own the company, that because you love your job so much and you care about it so much that you sell employ yourself on the work and you want to produce the best quality of work ever. And this is very, very powerful. When people talk about big company like Amazon, for example, they they usually think about Jeff Bezos, the the man who started Amazon in 1996. What a lot of people don't know about are Jeff Bezos' team. He would have his number two. He would have his number three. In fact, he has a team of those people to help make Amazon the company that it is today. And they are able to build Amazon by having a lot of employees who are self-employed themselves because they love the job, they share the vision, and they want the company to do well. So they don't really own the business, but the fact that they build the company together and they still making a lot of money out of it, and they treat it to be like just like their business. And you will often see people who does not like to start their own business. They are not a good number one guy, but they are very, very good number two, number three, even number seven guy in the company. And even though they employed by their company, but the salary is just ridiculous. It's go up in million, even 10 or hundreds of millions of dollars just because they are holding that position. So the fact that you are able to see your job as a dream job, or as you present 2 weeks ago, it is all about finding the love of what the world needs and make commitment to it, get good at it, appreciate it, get paid, and each guy. Then we have to be sophisticated, and that is where success is coming in. So by making an announcement that you committed to your job, you committed to doing well, to be really good at it, it will make a huge difference. And usually those who stick to their job and find the love in it and getting really good at it, they eventually will have their own business, whether it was their own business or whether they will work with other people. And having the uh, the attitude of self-employed, whether you are an employer or whether you are an employee, will make a huge difference. All right, and this is where you taking the highest responsible for your work. All right, moving on to magnitude number three, and each of this I'm going to write the word or the letter a little bit bigger to see the difference in the magnitude. All right, magnitude number three. If you have a business and you are making profit from it, then that will become your career. Career. All right. Well, here you might ask, like, where's the difference between a job and a career? Well, prior to learning this, to be very honest, I didn't know where is the difference between the job and the career is. But as you can see, the seven magnitude of life is laid out very clearly. A job is just you just go into work and you get your paycheck for it, and that's it. You might not have the love for it, and you might not care if the business or the company that you are working for are making a profit or not. But a career is when you truly self-employ, where you take the highest possible responsibility for your work. And not only that, it has to bring in profit. It has to be profitable. And once it is profitable, it will become your career. And why are we focusing on the word profit here? The entire reason of focusing on profit is that money is a measurement of value. If your business doesn't bring in profit, it means that you does not create value. And if you do not create value, you cannot consider it to be a business. Therefore, it cannot be a career. It is a long-term job that you are invested in time and effort in. Right. So extremely important that we can tell the difference because a lot of people they started a business, they get in business and they call themselves self-employed, even though the business is losing money. They don't make any profit, right? And they may not truly self-employed. They might not truly take the highest responsibility for their work. They might just contribute, let's say, 50% of what they could do into their job. So just the three first magnitude apply give us a very strong sense of what we need to do to get to a higher level. Extremely important because also this is where we have financial security in life because with the profit of the business, you now have financial freedom and time freedom if we can refer back to the dream life. Okay, moving on to number four. And I'm sure you start to see the pattern here. Magnitude four will be career. career plus maturity, and that will be success. And again, we often hear about a success life, how we want to be successful, but most of us don't really have a clear idea of what success is really mean. So here in the magnitude number four, is tell us that when we have a career and we have a successful business that generate profit and it can help us mature, then that is where we truly reach success. And the key words here I want you to focus on it is again the word maturity. Maturity here, if you can just refer back to the dream life, it is about self-development. It is about wisdom in life. It is about the understanding of life. Okay? Yeah, there are people who have a very successful business that bring in a lot of money and they have a successful career, but we are not talking about career here. We are talking about the magnitude of life. Okay? So here is how you can be successful in life. And it is all about maturity. But to keep it simple, you grow in your business. You become a better person. You become a better boss in your business. And also, we need to be successful in life. You need to grow as a person, mentally, physically, and spiritually. And the word maturity here means that you are growing way past the physical age. For example, often people in their 20s, they don't get to see as being successful because at that young age you are expecting to still go into school, still just start out with your um, maybe your first or even second businesses, and you might struggle in that business venture. So someone like Mark Zuckerberg in 2003, when he first created Facebook and was offered the company to buy it out by Yahoo at the price tag of $1 billion of dollars. I would call that success. I would call that maturity because the success that he create with Facebook in 12 months is just tremendous. It is amazing. It is way past what someone at his age would be able to do. So maturity is super, super important. And there's a quote saying that pursuing success does not guarantee success. Pursuing maturity certainly leads to success. And maturity is an important concept that we need to grasp. All right, moving on to magnitude number five. All right, magnitude number five, and I'm sure you started to see the pattern. We start with the end of the previous magnitude and we build on top of it. So with success, we need to have good health, good health, and plus family harmony. harmony, and that would help us reach happiness. All right. So as you can see, just because you are successful in making money, it does not mean that you are successful in life. So truly have success is also including good health and family harmony, a harmonious family. Right, this is actually a Y and not an H. All right. So if you can recall back to the principle of light when we introduced the four category that have most influence in our life, which are inner self, health, relationship, and finance. And we need to grow in all four of this category. And one problem that I observe around of me is that I found out that there are people who are very successful financially. However, they did not understand that they are actually trading their health for money. They are actually trading their relationship for money. And ultimately, they hurting their inner self. They hurt the way that they feel inside, their goodness inside. So magnitude of life at number five tell us that besides success in business, beside success in life, we also need to have a good health, which means that we don't trade our health for money. And we need to have a harmonious family or family harmony. And family harmony is the very, very foundation of relationship. If you can acquire all three of these elements with success, with health and family, that is when you truly find happiness. And this is the magnitude of life that many, many people aim for. Like they want to get there, they aim for it, but they might not have the map to get there. And the material manifestation of happiness is having good health, a harmonious family, and success in your career in life. Extremely, extremely important. All right, moving on to number six. All right, number six tell us that happiness after we acquire happiness, after we materialize happiness, we need to helping other, helping others with an S, be happy. And this will give us the meaning of life. Now I want to spend a little bit more time on the magnitude of life, number six here. To be very honest, most people cannot even reach happiness. And we have been going over to this many, many times in the past. And I mentioned it just now, there are people who are very successful financially, but they still suffer. They still feel pain because they simply don't have good health, or they just don't have a good relationship. Where is the point of having a tons of money and don't have anyone to share it with? And often people focus so much about making money, they forget about other important criteria in their life. And something as simple as good health, they neglect it. And relationship, they focus so much time um, at work that they barely have any time for family and loved one. And they eventually don't feel happy. And then there's another area who is extremely, extremely important that not too many people talk about. That is the inner self. That is how you can connect to the world. And often people are chasing the illusion of happiness. And lucky for us, at number five, we we are shown with a very, very, very similar, very simple formula that we just need to be successful at business, successful financially, and then we materialize good health, and we find harmonious family that will help us become very, very happy in the simplest form. So as you can see, with a successful business, and I'm referring back to the dream life here, that will help you get time freedom, that will help you get financial freedom. And now, in order to be happy, you need to have good health, and you have to have harmonious family. Okay. So as you can see, the next step would be helping other be happy. That is one of the best way to build relationship. You gotta help other to achieve what you have achieved. And then you can refer back to the seven important giving in life. Sit giving. We give people our mastery. We give people the experience of happiness. And that will give you the meaning of life. And this might sound very, very simple, but magnitude number six is where most people are stuck because they don't know how to help other people. And I believe I have told you the story of David. Um, he's the artist who painted uh, Facebook headquarters and got paid like $60,000 in stock, and he made like hundreds of millions of dollars when Facebook started to be a public traded company. That is the guy who had acquired, he had accomplished everything in life. He had fame, he had money, he had talent, he had all the money in the world where he can go take vacation and experience all kind of fun things that he have done. And he felt happiness for a very short amount of time. But eventually he lost the meaning of life. He didn't know what he needed to do because he literally had enough money to not even moving a muscle. He can hire people to do everything for him. Okay, he can hire people to eat for him, to clean him up. He doesn't have to lift a finger. And as such a success in life, people need to find a meaning in life. And there are many, many uh, tragedy, you know, stories of how people who reach the peak, the summit of the success in their life, and then ended up to committed suicide because they simply lost the meaning of life. Like the story of Anthony Bourdain, for example. And of course, I don't want to focus not too much on the negativity, but this is the real things. If we lose the meaning of life, um, and all of the success, all of the financial success that you have in the world will not be enough. It might sound scary, but in this world, we have to learn how to help others. And in the seven magnitude of life, we need to help other people to be happy. And all of this, we can refer back to the seven important giving in life. And if you can just understand the presentation on the magnitude of number six, the importance of it, because eventually, if we are going after happiness, if we are going after a successful life, we will get here one day. Some people got here very quickly, and they don't know how to seek giving. They don't know how to help other be happy. And they are lost. And again, step number six here, it's extremely important. That eventually, I hope that we can have more discussion at number six. All right. So finally, I want to introduce magnitude number seven. So we have all seven on the paper, and we can discuss it a little bit further. All right. So number seven, it is the meaning of life. Meaning of life. Okay. Meaning of life plus dissemination. Yes. Disseminate. And that will give us something very important that I would like to write with the red pen. That is culture. Success is hard to copy, but culture can be passed on. We are all influenced by the culture that we live in. And in order to pass on culture, we need to deeply understand the law, the principle, the keys, the formulas, the methods, the rules, the tool, the environment, the concept, the mentality, the capability, the ritual, the ceremony, the sort concept, the reference system, and the governing code of the field we work in. As you can see in this field right here, we are focusing on happiness. We are focused on the inner peace. We are focusing on how to live a happy, a meaningful life. And with the 15 element of the law, the principle, the keys, the formula, the method, the rule, the tool, the environment, the concepts, the mentality, the capability, the ritual, the ceremony, the sort concept, the reference system, and the governing code. We will be able to create culture by disseminate the meaning of life where we are happy and we helping others be happy. This is the highest, uh, the high in the seven magnitude of life. This is man of man, greatest, greatest people in the world who help carry the world itself. And this is the culture that I have seen many, many great men and women who are making a huge difference in this world. And they're disseminating this goodness. They are the people who are exercising the seven important giving in life. And these people are often talked about like the the wise man, the expert, the master, some of the greatest being in this life. And I will confidently name some of them, like Lao Tzu, like Socrates, like the Buddha, um, Gandhi. There are many, many great men and women out there that are disseminating the meaning of life. And what we are seeing as culture here is not just like a culture of a country or a culture of a part of a nation or a province somewhere. The word culture here has a much deeper meaning, and we can find these common knowledge about happiness and disseminating the value of happiness, of helping other people happiness. We can find this from all around the world. And I have the privilege to learn about this through Happiness Studies Academy because I am taking the program of the MA in Happiness Study. And we discussed it at length about the writing, about the philosophy that has dated thousands and thousands of the year in the past. And this go across culture, across border. When we look at ancient Chinese study, we learn that they are discussing the same thing. They are talking about happiness, helping other people be happy, and they disseminate this knowledge to build culture. When we go to ancient Greek, they talk about the same thing. The Buddha, even in North America, we will find similar teaching. And surprisingly, but not surprised that even in Africa, they share similar belief. You know, have, I wonder, well, probably some of you have heard of the word Ubuntu. Ubuntu is I am because we are, as in I am happy because you are happy. What I have it because you have it. All right. So I'm happy, but I need to help others be happy. And that is the meaning of life. We have to disseminate it because the more of us have it, the stronger, the more long lasting it is. It is a culture, and you might not aware of it, but we are all in this together. Everything is interconnected. We all have a a deep connect to each other. So imagine the relationship between a bee and a flower. The bee is so happy to see flower because that is how the bee get honey. That is how it survive. So every day when it's visiting that flower, the bee is full of joy and happiness. And also on the perspective of the flower is also extremely, extremely happy each day that is see the bee because the bee helped the flower to disseminate the pollen so that the flower can bear fruit, so the tree can live on. So in that example, even though it is simple, but both the flower and the bee has such a beautiful relationship. And only when we help others be happy, that is when we truly find the meaning of life. And when we spread that knowledge, we can help everybody be happy. Then everyone will learn to live their life to the fullest. They will be able to fulfill the destiny of their life, just like the relationship between the bee and the flower. And in fact, that is the relationship of the entirety of the universe itself. It is greater than life. And those who have this realization, they will they will go toward this destination. They will go toward the culture. And in that journey, believe me, just by focusing on number seven, they will have to go through the first six steps, whether they like it or not. So instead of just walking in the dark, not knowing where we are in life, what we need to do, what we want to accomplish, the seven magnitude of light give us a layout. It gives us a roadmap because when we see the seven magnitude, the seven step, it helps us realize where we are in this life, whether we are just an employee working a job, whether we just started our business and be an employee, or even if you have successful company making a lot of money and you spend a lot of time to work on yourself to build your family. This roadmap here will tell you exactly what you need to do, right? And all of this here are medicine in the second half of each of the magnitude. This is how you move up. All right. For example, for magnitude number one, you might go to work, but hey, make sure that you are getting paid for it, right? That's how you move up. And if you have in a business, what do you need to do? You need to focus on making sure that your business is profitable. That's how you are moving up. And if you are at level three, when you have a career, you got to make sure that you mature from that environment. And when you have success, you need to make sure that you have good health. Plus, you got to make sure that you take care of your family, having a harmonious family that will help you reach to happiness. Extremely, extremely important. This also tell us that, you know what, after you reaching that, all you have to do is just helping other be happy. And then disseminate the meaning of life. So not only the seven magnitude of life show us where we are in life, it's also show us what we need to do to get to the next level. But you can remember all of this, you can figure it out and climbing through each of the steps. But if you are lucky, if you have enough good karma and radiant karma, I'll tell you what, you can just focus in on magnitude number seven then it will be simpler for you to acquire every other step. And this is part of the reason why we focusing on the simpler things that we can do to get us to the highest level of life, a life where we can enjoy material wealth, but we can also enjoy the true meaning of life, to build a culture, to have a meaning. And of course, next week we will go deeper in the seven holistic wealth, which is a quick introduction again. Instead of focusing on the grander thing, we are focusing on what's matter, what is important, and that will help us acquire what we need in a much simpler manner. And here it helps us understand the seven important giving in life simpler, right? Something like sit giving, body giving, mind giving, space giving, speech giving, eye giving, and face giving. Because by doing that, we can help others be happy and we can disseminate the meaning of life much better, much easier. And when we choose to gravitate toward the seven holistic life, it will simpler for us to accomplish everything. Okay. So usually I would end here, where I would also like to give you the 15 principle of how to get to magnitude number seven. Right. So in order to get there, let's this. Let's write down the 15 principle. All right. And that will be number one here. In order to reach level seven, the magnitude number seven, we need to deeply understand the law. Number two, we need to understand the principle. And number three, we need to understand the keys. Four, we need to understand the formula. Formula. We need to understand the method. We need to understand the rule. We have to have rule. Then after the tool, we have to have the right environment. Environment. Nine, we gotta need to understand the concept of it. And after the concept, we need to understand the reference system, reference system. 11, that would be the governing code. Bit go and I'm missing something. Let me double check this quick. At the law, we have the principle, law, principle, key, formula, method, rule, to environment, concept, mentality, capability, to environment, concept, all right, mentality, changing out the mentality. Also need capability. Ability. And then the other ritual. We also need ritual. And then last but not least, we also need a ceremony. Right. So as simple as this is 15 elements that we need to reach the seventh magnitude of life. And of course, this can be using in any business model, any field that you want to focus on, but just for today purpose. In order to be happy, okay? In order to be happy, in order to help others be happy and disseminate happiness, we would need this 15, this 15 element. And once you acquire these 15 elements, when you have a great understanding of it, this is how you reach the highest of the highest level of life, or the highest magnitude of life. And this is the roadmap that the most successful people in life have struggled to get to. And a lot of time it takes them a lifetime to get close to this. And knowing this information, we now have a choice. We can choose to go through life making mistake and or just making improvement in life and figure out what we can do next, or we understand the end goal, the summit of the mountain, the highest of the high. We can focus right at the end goal, at the seventh magnitude of life, and we can use what the expert tell us, what the wise man, the enlightened one, has told us. We can simply figure out the 15 element to help us reach culture, the highest of the seven magnitude of life. And that is the secret to living life to the fullest. So thank you for joining us today. And just I'll see you next week. This marks the end of the governance code number three, the last number three in 3773. Tomorrow, I will sit down and put together what I plan to do for next week, and most likely we will circle back to seven holistic wealth. But this time we will go into detail as I have promised to everyone, because everything that we share here, they are all interconnected. We don't just tell you the name of like something in here. We actually go in deep and explore it and show you how to get there as well. So it's very exciting for the next week. So once again, thank you very much for joining us today, and thank you for being a fellow journeyer. And I will see you next week. Take care. Please take care of yourself.